Until a little while ago, there was a clear barrier between ordinary people and information broadcasters. But now that barrier has been broken down, and everyone, including myself, has become a source of information. Each individual is now the focus, and what we want to say, the things we transmit, and our comments are all being seen by someone. I realized that not being cautious when receiving and processing information can be risky. Here's what happened. The Kanagawa Prefecture well triple murder case. On November 16, 2007 in Sakaide, Kagawa Prefecture, Miss Mitsuko Miyauchi, who was 58 at the time, and her two granddaughters, Chika Yamashita, 5, and Ayana Yamashita, 3, suddenly disappeared. The two girls had come to stay at their grandmother Mitsuko Miyauchi's house from November 15, 2007 for a visit. However, on November 16, 2007, all three went missing. There were no signs of a struggle or footprints from a third party in the house, and the case was treated as an incident, prompting an investigation to begin. Television stations reported the case of the two missing girls for several days, with their father and grandmother making appearances. We will interview Mr. Kiyoshi Yamashita. From here, the case started to move in an unexpected direction. Here are the details. On November 15, 2007 at 6:00 p.m., two girls arrived at Ms. Mitsuya's house. By 7:00 p.m., their mothers were present, and Ms. Sachiko Yamashita, the wife of Mr. Yamashita, called to tell Ms. Mitsuya that the two girls wanted to watch their favorite television show and asked her to let them watch it. Ms. Sachiko called Ms. Mitsuya again at 10:00 p.m. The sisters' voices were audible over the phone. At 11, post-meridiem, their father Mr. Kiyoshi and grandmother were there. They confirmed that the light in the living room of the Mitsuya family's house was off. Kiyoshi got up at 2 a.m. on the 16th to use the toilet. From his second floor window, he verified a motorcycle was parked at the Miura family's house entrance. Around 7:30 a.m., Kiyoshi heard the Miura family's entrance door open and close. When he checked, it was open. The motorcycle that had been there before was gone, and shortly after that, Sachiko called Miura twice, but both times it went to voicemail. At around 7:50 a.m., Sachiko visited the Miura residence. Normally, the door was always locked, but the chain lock on the entrance was open and there was no sign of anyone inside the house. Sachiko, concerned that something might have happened to the couple, called several hospitals, but neither of their names appeared as patients, so Sachiko immediately went out to search the nearby area. Near the Miura residence, Sachiko discovered that the wire on the bicycle, which was usually parked in front of the shed, had been cut. Normally, Miura would use this bicycle. Kiyoshi felt uneasy about this situation. At around 9 a.m., Miura's wife reported her husband missing to the police. The police immediately began a search. They searched Miura's house and also conducted interviews and investigations with people involved. Blood stains were found in Miura's house and the bedroom carpet had been removed. There were traces near the bathroom where blood had been washed away, making it clear that something had happened there and that someone had tried to hide it. We are also collecting eyewitness accounts from local residents. I had been awake since 4 a.m., but I didn't hear any unusual sounds or anything like that. Between 4 and 5 a.m., there were no cars around. At 6 a.m., according to a person delivering newspapers, there was a sedan parked in front of Mr. Miyagi's house. However, until then, during the newspaper delivery, they hadn't seen any such car. Another woman said she heard a man's voice early in the morning, either arguing or calling out. That's what she said. Around 4 p.m. on the 17th, Miyake, who had not returned home. Mr. Mayura's cell phone radio waves were receivable but went unanswered. By 7 p.m., the signal was lost completely. The Kanagawa Prefectural Police set up an investigation headquarters on November 18th. The bloodstains found in the bathroom were identified as belonging to all three individuals according to the police investigation, which is ongoing. As previously mentioned, each media outlet covered this murder case as top news for several consecutive days. Who could the culprit be, and what were the feelings of the family left behind? At that time, what was often shown was an interview with Mr. Kiyoshi, the father. His appearance and words, as well as his tone, gave off an impression that made some viewers who saw him on television feel uncomfortable, and there was a reason for that. Several television stations even reported as if Mr. Kiyoshi might be the culprit. The attendees found the long inactivity period strange, noting that normally one would call right away. They found it unbelievable. Ultimately, there was a huge misunderstanding and the child was lost. Fathers who are worried from the bottom of their hearts are being increasingly suspected day by day. Mr. Kiyoshi understood this situation and said, "If you say you love something, you should love it, not doubt it, no matter what. I just just want my daughter back. My children, who I can call my treasures, are being suspected as criminals. I can't even imagine how painful those days must have been after the three went missing. 11 days later, on November 27th, someone finally came forward and admitted to the crime. Masakazu Kawasaki, 61, was close to Mr. Miyuki's foster family. Kawasaki disposed of the three bodies and the car at the harbor. According to his statement, the three bodies, the bicycle, and the cell phone were found at the location, which led to his arrest. Did Kawasaki really kill the three people himself, or was it actually Miyuki? She was actually borrowing money from Kawasaki's wife, Masako. Masako was involved in the incident. At that time, she was also suffering from illness and was in a difficult situation. Kawasaki, or rather Masako, was borrowing money from Miura. She said that the fact that the money hadn't been returned and the fear that Miura might steal her own assets led to the crime, and that she was afraid the incident would affect her children. However, Kiyoshi gave a completely different explanation for the motive. Kawasaki said that since Masako was ill and bedridden, she was watching over Miura, who had come to visit her at her bedside. He expressed love for Miura, his wife's sister. Kawasaki was caring for his ill, bedridden wife Masako. After leaving the hospital, the troubled Masako didn't stay at Kawasaki's waiting house as hoped, but went to Miura's house instead. She took all her money and lived in a camper van. It seems that Kawasaki was enraged. About a year and a half after the incident, on March 16, 2009, Kawasaki was sentenced to death. On July 12, 2012, the death penalty was finalized and the sentence was carried out 2 years later. Despite occurring about 12 years ago, the case had such strange elements that it cast suspicion on the entire family, regardless of how it was discussed. Even if the real culprit is revealed, our scars will remain for life. Since the incident, there's been no television coverage. Mr. Kiyoshi says no one would cause such a misunderstanding. Also, if your words might be criticized, please think carefully before speaking. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. Thank you very much for watching.